barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost.
Hello there, class and professor. That speech is from Charlie Chaplin, from the movie titled The Great Dictator. The reason I chose to start with that speech is because it's one of the things that came to mind when I initially started this project. That part of the speech made me realize that we made a lot of advances in technology, but none as a humanity. The project is to discuss the influence technology is having on us and our emotions. Some of the things that we could do with technology today are simply amazing. Computers used to be the size of rooms. Now they're small handheld devices that children can play with. Cars have gotten faster, our cell phones have gotten smaller. With the latest iPhone, we can now open it just by looking at it. But is all this technology helping us or hurting us in the end? Technology and the way we use technology is all in different ways. It has a different impact for the younger generation as opposed to the older generation. Children who are raised on these devices, millennials, are more attached and drawn to them. That's because they grew up with them. The older generations, Generation X and Y, are the opposite. We got to witness as technology has grown, but we're not as attached to it. In a recent interview, Bill Gates, CEO of Microsoft, went on to state that he limits how much screen time his children have at home. He started noticing that his daughter was developing an unhealthy attachment to a video game. He also didn't let his kids get a cell phone until they turned 14. So why exactly is it that the CEO of Microsoft is limiting the amount of screen time his children have? The answer is pretty obvious. He's starting to notice that it's starting to affect us negatively. Take for example in a photo. This photo was drawn by an artist named Banksy. As you can see, the child has known nothing but a cell phone his entire life. In his first drawing, instead of drawing a picture of his mom and dad, he drew a picture of the cell phones because that's all he sees. One may be quick to disagree and dismiss that technology and social media is having an impact on our emotions. Well, let me use social media as an example. Has it ever occurred to you that the most popular social media sites such as Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram are all blue? This is no coincidence. The reason being for that is that the color blue is known to calm and relax, subconsciously making it our emotional outlet. Some of the other impacts are lack of focus, aggression, low self-esteem, lack of sympathy, distraction, cyberbullying, and also social media addiction. Has it ever occurred to you that after playing a violent video game, you yourself may be aggressive for the next few minutes? This is something we discussed in class as well. The textbook went on to state that aggressive behavior is influenced by violent video games. Our emotions are being controlled by playing these violent video games. The more we are exposed to it, the more our violent behavior becomes more natural and used as a source to display our emotions. This is another painting by Banksy. In this photo, you can see a little boy who seems to be frustrated and angry. Right above him, you can see 0, 0, 0. For those that aren't familiar, this is from a famous social media site called Instagram. You can see that he has 0 comments, 0 likes, and 0 friend requests. For some social media sites just like this one, it's just a source of way of getting our mind off things, distracting ourselves. But for others, they become addicted to it. They become addicted to finding all these notifications when they turn on their phone, to being quote unquote Instagram popular, to having all these followers and all these people comment, like, and just request them. It brings them the attention that they might not be getting somewhere else, such as home. This brings up something else we discussed in class as well, which was social influence. Whenever a new phone drops or new sneakers come out, the younger generation tends to be the first to try to get those. The reason being is because their friends have it. You don't want to be seen as going against the norm or being different. You want to fit in. You want to be seen as the rest of the group. With that happening all at once, you feel this type of pressure to just fit in, which is why you do your best to keep up with the latest gadgets, have the latest sneakers, latest shoes, have the latest pieces of technology. Social media has influenced this because now you can see this nationwide. You can see what celebrities are wearing. You can see what celebrities are doing. You can see the stuff celebrity have. This technology this is giving us this access and it's putting all this pressure on us. It's influencing us socially just because we want to fit in. We want to be able to keep up with everybody else. Another influence is that it's creating an emotional distance between us. We are missing out on basic human interaction and it is ruining our social cues. Take, for example, when we are out eating at dinner, our phones may be sitting on the table. There are various reasons for it. We may have kids, we may have maybe expecting an important email from work, but nonetheless, the phones will be visible and in sight. Some of the theories we discussed in class were aggression, attitude, and group process. Each of these theories come into effect when we are discussing the effect of technology. As stated earlier, using social media as an example, we realize that all the popular social media sites are blue because it evokes the emotion of relaxation, it's calming, and it distracts us from all the daily stressors. Social influence is another theory that we discussed in class. Thanks to social media, the pressure of social influence has grown. It's become more nationwide. Why? Because we're more exposed to it now. We see it happening all over the world. All these things are contributing to our addiction, whether we are aware of them or whether it's happening subconsciously. Either way, it is still occurring. There are many ways to try to prevent, or if it's already occurring, there are many ways to battle this addiction. Addiction to social media and addiction to technology is similar to any other addiction such as gambling or alcohol. They all have a source, which means it can be fixed. It has to be treated the same way as any other addiction as well. The best way to treat these addictions is through central behavioral treatment. The first step to this intervention is recognizing where you are at. For young adults, children, and adults alike. If you feel yourself becoming addicted to social media and technology, the best and first step is to limit how much exposure you have to it. If you have done this and you realize you have not fully mastered the capability of controlling it, the second best step is to seek professional help. Similar to any other addiction, such as gambling and alcohol, the best step is to take central behavior treatment from a counselor. Group therapy is also an option, but group therapy won't be as heavy influential. The best options is going to be private one-on-one with a counselor. The reason you want to use a counselor is because they'll be able to identify what the cause of it is. Say, for example, if you're aggressive, you might look at aggressive video games and aggressive TV as a outlet for your emotion, but there may be something else going on in your life that's causing all these aggressive behavior and all these aggressive emotions. They'll be the one to undergo and to help you find that. Until the problem or the source is found, there will be no cure. The counselor is going to be the one to help you and find you a proper way of treatment. There are many different forms of central behavioral treatment. It varies by addiction. After seeking professional help, there are things we could do to take control of the situation ourselves as well. The main thing we could do is learn how to manage our lifestyle. According to Scott, Valley, and Smeka, in a study they did, they went on to state we should be capable of having a healthy life balance and carving out time to unplug, relax, reflect, and recharge. All these things are key to changing the problem of technology addiction and getting back to stable mental health. He also went on to state that finding the place, time, and space to think helps clients achieve a better balance. These are the two most crucial steps in fixing the technology addiction. The first step is seeking help from a professional counselor so they can come up with a good CBT treatment to help you cure. The second is finding the way to maintain a well-balanced lifestyle afterwards so that the problem doesn't occur again. Technology is headfast bringing us into the future. As we continue to advance, we should learn to advance along with it and not let it consume us. We are human beings, and one of the few things that make us human is the ability to control our emotions. We must not let all these new machines consume us. There are many ways we can adjust to this. The first step is to limit how much we rely on it. Limiting should be the first step and the most crucial step in solving this problem. We can't fix anything until we learn to control our desires. For the younger generation and mostly the kids, they should be using the devices for educational purposes and some leisure time. It should not be their main source of entertainment because then they will learn to rely on it. For the older generation, we must simply train ourselves to limit it. Majority of us have this tendency to wake up and the first thing we do is reach for our phones, whether it is to check the weather, news, or text message. We should learn to enjoy the few minutes of the day to ourselves so we can mentally prepare for the day before we plug ourselves into the world. We should learn to increase the level of human interaction. Too often we are on our phones to have a conversation with the person that is near or around us. Simple things such as putting your phone down when you are eating will make a better environment.